Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, June 13th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next few days, we will continue to see fire potential increase across parts of the Great Basin. Today, very dry conditions and much warmer temperatures will occur in all areas, and we may start to see a few lightning strikes push into far southern areas across the Arizona Strip and especially southern Utah. However, today, any lightning activity will likely be late in the day and very isolated. However, it will be on the dry side. On Thursday and Friday, we will see lightning coverage increase and spread north. There will likely be better chances for drier lightning with better coverage on Thursday, and then on Friday we may see that transition from drier to wet lightning, especially over parts of southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and a little bit further north. However, we have an area of low pressure moving in from the north, which will allow winds to increase a little bit today, and then more so on Thursday, Friday. So we do have high risk issued for gusty winds, low humidity in areas where our fuels are most critical, over southern and eastern Nevada into southwest and parts of central Utah. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen no lightning across the Great Basin, with only a few showers up north across Idaho. Great Basin fire activity continues to increase with light initial attack. However, we do have some new large fires, one over western Nevada, and then a few new starts further north across Idaho. Over the last 7 days, precipitation has been focused in the far north with very dry conditions over Nevada, Utah, the Arizona Strip, and eastern Idaho. Looking at the last 2 weeks, precipitation again was confined to the north, where only some areas of Idaho saw near normal precipitation, and all other areas that saw rainfall was well below normal, with very dry conditions continuing over the last 2 weeks over western, southern, and eastern areas of the basin. Looking at our current ERCs, ERCs are most critical across the Arizona Strip, southern, and the eastern half of Utah, where ERCs are above the 90th to 97th percentile and are near record highs for the time of year. Further north and west, ERCs are lower between the 50th and 80th percentile, but they are on the rise, especially with the very dry and warm weather that has been occurring and will continue to occur this week as temperatures become quite a bit hotter across especially Nevada, Utah, into southern Idaho. Live fuel moisture, first starting over southern and eastern Utah, live fuel moisture is well below normal and near historical lows in the sagebrush for the time of year, just due to the very dry conditions that have persisted for longer periods of time. Over parts of Nevada, the sagebrush is near normal, but has likely peaked and will be on the downward trend as we go through the coming weeks. Up across Idaho, most areas of Idaho have sagebrush live fuel moisture near to above normal. However, over parts of southwest Idaho is where the sagebrush is quite a bit drier and is well below normal for the time of year. Looking at the satellite loop from this morning, a couple different features will be affecting the Great Basin over the coming days. First, we have generally high pressure dominating the Great Basin today with very warm and dry conditions and temperatures increasing to well above normal. We also have Hurricane Bud, which is off the Mexican coast south of this image. We are getting some mid to higher level moisture move up across the southwest, and this is the initial return of moisture that will allow thunderstorms to return to far southern areas, possibly late today, but more so on Thursday and Friday. Also, an area of low pressure moving into the northwest coast will drop further south, and this will allow for much stronger winds with continued low relative humidity over parts of the southern half of the Great Basin, and it will also eventually bring cooler temperatures and wetter conditions to the north. Now looking at the weather pattern again for later today, we do have that mid and high level moisture that's moving north across Arizona today, so it may push into far southern areas of the Great Basin with a few isolated dry thunderstorms later into the early evening hours over parts of southern Utah and possibly the Arizona Strip. Any lightning today will be extremely isolated, with more of an increase tomorrow. Otherwise, dry and warm conditions across the rest of the Great Basin. Relative humidity will remain in the single digits to low teens over much of the southern half to two-thirds of the area, and a little bit higher across Idaho, but again, fairly low relative humidity with those temperatures today in the mid to upper 90s across much of northern Nevada, northern Utah, and above 100 degrees in the south. Winds today will be gustier than what we saw yesterday and will be on the increase. We'll see gusts generally 20 to 30 miles per hour at times across really much of the Great Basin, so we will again see that increase in winds from what we've seen over the last couple of days. As we move into Thursday, that moisture from Hurricane Bud starts to stream a little bit further north and get a little bit deeper, so we have better chances for lightning over the Arizona Strip, southern and eastern Utah, and the higher terrain of the central Utah mountains on Thursday, with dry conditions over the rest of the Great Basin. So we have high risk this lightning, as it will likely be on the dry side. Also, as that trough in the northwest starts to drop further south, winds will be increasing, so we'll have gusty winds and low relative humidity for much of southern and eastern Nevada up into western Utah. So again, these storms, especially on the western edge, will also be interacting with some of that wind and be moving faster on Thursday as well, which will further limit the amount of moisture. Relative humidity on Thursday comes up a little bit in areas where we start to see some of that cloud cover and thunderstorms, but still below 15% with single digits further west. On Thursday, those winds really start to increase even further, again, because of that area of low pressure dropping in from the north. So we will see wind gusts above 30 or 35 miles per hour with those low relative humidities over parts of Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southern Nevada. On Friday, we still have that trough in place over the west. However, some moisture starts to drop south, so we're going to start to see even some showers and thunderstorms over northern Nevada and up into Idaho. However, temperatures will also start to be cooling on Friday as that low drops south. Moisture from Bud will start to stream further north with quite a bit more moisture, especially over the eastern half of Utah. We still have some lightning risks over that same area on Friday. However, we will likely see the transition from dry to wet storms occur during the day on Friday. So some areas will see some rainfall, other areas just the gusty outflow winds. Still, the wind threat continues further west and south over Nevada into parts of western Utah as that trough remains in place with those strong winds. And we can see on Friday those winds really start to strengthen even further from what we'll see on Thursday, with gusts above 40 or 45 miles per hour, really over much of Utah, into Nevada, and even along the Sierra front. Relative humidity will come up a little bit on Friday, but still generally be below 15 to 20%. So we're still looking at strong winds and low relative humidity across much of Nevada and Utah on Friday. The overall forecast amount of precipitation again shows that precip over the eastern two-thirds of Utah as that moisture from Hurricane Bud spreads north. Again, still dry conditions today and really into tomorrow, but that precipitation may start to materialize more on Friday. Also with these thunderstorms, they won't be just confined to the afternoon periods, especially as we move into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So expect lightning and thunderstorms to continue overnight as well over parts of Utah and even over parts of Idaho and northern Nevada as that trough drops south. As we move through the weekend, we're looking at a very similar pattern with a trough of low pressure really digging south along much of the west, and this will bring much cooler temperatures and unsettled weather to much of the northern two-thirds and eastern half of the Great Basin on Saturday. So expect again, temperatures will be very hot here for the next couple of days and then cool to below normal by the weekend with showers and thunderstorms. We do still have some wind threats, gusty winds and low relative humidity across Nevada. Winds will still remain breezy over western Utah on Saturday as well, but relative humidity will be increasing. On Sunday and into Monday and Tuesday, a very stagnant pattern with this low really dominating the northwest. Therefore, cool and showery weather with some thunderstorms over the northern half of the basin, and a return to drier weather over southern areas and even into Utah in areas that will see some thunderstorms and rainfall as we move through the next few days. Monday and Tuesday, very similar pattern. Dry in the south, unsettled, showery weather with thunderstorms and cool temperatures in the north, and again, similar on Tuesday as well. Looking at the 7-day precip total, again, this is what's accounted for in the 3-day as well as what we'll see additionally over the weekend. So much of the precip across Utah and the Arizona Strip will occur through Friday and into Saturday, and then much of the precipitation in Idaho and northern and western Nevada will occur as we go from Friday through the early part of next week. The 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us into the third to latter part of June, we're looking at above normal temperatures over the northern half of the area, and that above normal precipitation signature still remains over the eastern half of the Great Basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.